Obi, amigo. You gotta amp it up. No sleepy art stuff.
You have not changed at all, Silva.
No time for your show, Obi. I am the show.
This game demands so much of us. But from
Are you still talking? Don't make this some dumb art thing or I'll tell you where to install it, amigo. Maybe you should have stayed on the small stage, huh?
I fight on behalf of the odd ones. For the refused, the cursed, the exceptional.
The melodrama's boring, compadre. Less blah blah blah, more hell yeah! It's not about how hard you tried. It's about who wins.
Infant, do not look away. I want you to look.
Come on, lighten up, amigo.
Perhaps you will consider your actions from now on.
Wow, that was intense. Really makes me want to take a long pause and reflect and... Wait, no I don't.
Welcome back, my legends, and today I'm going to explain why Octane hates Seer, and explain the secret lore connection about these two legends and how Octane might have some resentment towards Seer in the future. So in order to understand why will Octane hate Seer, you first have to understand their background story. Now, both Octane and Seer come from parents that are financially wealthy. Now, we know this because one of the former writers, Tom, said that Octane's dad owned Silva Pharmaceuticals. Now, in the Pathfinder's questbook, we see that Octane describes Casa de Octane as a big fancy house that he wanted to put springboards in a half pipe. Now, in the Twitter comics, we get to see what Octane's house looks like from the outside and the inside. Now, going back to Silva Pharmaceuticals, I have speculated that they probably had a relationship with the IMC because the IMC use simulacra stim pilots, which use, well, stim, it's in their name. So this will explain how Lifeline and Octane know each other. Not only were their parents friends when they were kids, but when they grew up and formed their own companies, they both work with the IMC. And so just as Lifeline said, the wealthy tend to run in the same circles. Now this all connects back to Seer because Lifeline's parents were throwing a monthly gala, or basically a rich party for rich people. And this one was interesting because it also involved the French worlds, which I'm guessing the planet BORUS was part of it. And Seer's parents, Mr. and Mrs. EDOLASIM, were invited to join the party because my theory is that they are the owners of this company called Vetcha Heavy Industries. Now the reason I'm saying this is because if you look at this flatline skin called the heatsink, not only does it have the Vetcha Heavy Industries logo, but it does follow the same Seer aesthetics as we see in his cinematic when he's talking to his dad. I won't be surprised if that's the case, and that will explain how Seer and Octane know each other because they met at a party that they were invited to, being hosted by Lifeline's parents. So this will explain how Octane knows that Seer likes art stuff, which he finds very boring. Now, this is very interesting because if you hear very closely what Seer's saying, you can tell that he's a bit disappointed in Octane and tells him that he hasn't changed over the years. And the reason why Seer's saying this is because he understands better than anybody that Octane is a bit self-serving and that he cares way too much what other people think about him than he does himself, which is the complete opposite of who Seer is. Seer has always been labeled as the cursed child that supposedly brings bad luck wherever he goes, yet Seer has never let that define him. In fact, in one of the loading screens, Keep the Flame, one of his fans said that it was Seer who taught him that it's everybody's curses that makes them strong and unique, and they should define their curses for themselves and never let others define it for them.
I do not fight to be accepted. I fight to be free of your acceptance.
And so as you can see, a lot of Seer fans care about who he is, what he represents, and what he does, which is the complete opposite of Octane fans. In fact, even Octane acknowledges it himself without realizing what he's saying. He said that before he joined the games, he blew off his legs, he loves the rush, and so do his fans. But they don't care about him. They care about what he does, which is doing extreme stunts that put Octane's life in danger. So as you can see, these two cannot be any more similar yet different from each other. But why is that? Well, the answer is very simple. You see, Octane never had parents that cared about him. In fact, his dad married about 4 times, and his biological mom he called number 2 because according to Octane, she was fine with it, or he thinks she is, because she never tried to be much else. And so did Eduardo Silva, Octane's dad. You see, Octane's dad only cared about Octane because he had this dream that one day Octane would inherit his throne, his legacy, and his company. Do you see the problem here? Eduardo wanted to force his legacy on Octane, which goes to show you how much of a dad he is, because it's very clear at a young age that Octane was never meant to be a corporate guy. It's just not him. And so why will Octane do all this? Well, the answer is pretty simple. Octane wanted his parents to accept him for who he is. Just like how Seer's parents did with Obi. When Obi was being accused of being a distraction in his school, what happened is that Seer's parents took him out of school and called the whole class fools and they should be embarrassed of themselves, and they would not let their son be less than what he could be because they're all afraid of him. When Seer played in the arenas, despite them being dangerous and keeping them a secret, you can clearly see that Seer's parents finally accepted it because it made Seer happy. They were happy that he found something that he loved and was able to express himself. And so this is why Octane hates Seer. Despite having enormous amount of wealth, freedom to do whatever he wants, he can't have the one thing he wanted the most in life, and that's parents that love him. It's the reason why he's not a big fan of family portraits, because he knew he never had a family to begin with. And so this is why, my legends, Octane hates Seer. But here's the thing. I think Seer has known about this for a long time, and he's always tried to warn Octane about his actions, because one thing I've always noticed is that the person that takes responsibility the most for Octane's actions is Lifeline. And I made a theory about this, that if Octane's not careful, just like how a moth escorted the princess into a flame, Octane might do something to Lifeline that she would never forgive him. But yeah, my legends, that'll be it for this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.